This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, and review Amazon, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out. And do not forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig. But we are here. Playoffs, folks. The race to 16. 16 wins, and you sit amongst the greats of immortality. The playoffs start today. The play-in is over. The Kings sitting at home. The Bulls sitting at home. They didn't make the sequel, amigo. This is about the sequel. And here we are, moving on and moving through. We got first game of the day. We're going to have the Magic and the Cavaliers. This is going to be one of those grinded out series, maybe even a surprise. This could be a surprise for the Cleveland Cavaliers because Donovan Mitchell is just now returning from injury, as I've been alluding to all couple weeks. Last couple weeks, I've been telling you Donovan Mitchell has been hurt in and out of the lineup. Also, we don't know if he really wants to be a part of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But what we do know is that they've done enough to secure this 4-5 matchup in the East, and this is going to be a good matchup. Solid matchup across the boards. They match up pretty well. Cleveland will be the home seed, but, last year we saw Cleveland go out in the first round against those New York Knicks. So this is kind of a redemption year as far as playoff potential and playoff push. Can we get to the second round? Now, JB Bickerstaff, this is a huge series for him. Because when you become a head coach, winning in the playoffs is a must. You must win playoff games. Now, regular season games are great. Regular season achievements are amazing. Shout out to all the people who made first team NBA, second team NBA, defensive team, second team, MVP, defensive player of the year, most improved, rookie of the year. All that shit is great. But it means nothing. Nothing. It means nothing without a good playoff push behind it. I mean, that's when you start getting into the categories of the most overrated playoff teams. When you look at that Atlanta Hawks team, when you look at that Utah Jazz team, who once again was the Donovan Mitchell team, where they were number one in the West and then got beat in the first round. Unfortunately, that whole season means nothing. Golden State Warriors, prime example, had the most wins in NBA history, had one of the best records in the NBA ever. They had one of the best records. All they needed was the cherry on top, which was that chip with that dip. Well, that chip and dip got ate by the GOAT, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. They blew a 3-1 lead and lost the NBA championship. And you know what everybody talks about that season for? Not because of the 73, 74 wins or whatever the hell they did. They talk about that season because they blew a 3-1 lead. So what I'm telling you is what you do in the playoffs matters. What you do in the race of 16 will undo everything you did in that 82-game regular season. And that is the NBA for you, folks. This is a different league. This is a different type of competitive spirit. This is time. This is time. So we got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Magic kicking us off today. I personally like the Cleveland Cavaliers at home in this one. First game, I can see Cleveland coming out. The fans are going to be excited. Hopefully, Donovan Mitchell passes the ball. But I like the Cleveland Cavaliers first game at home. Going out west for the first game, we got the Suns and the Timberwolves. This is going to be an explosive series. We got the firepower of the Phoenix Suns versus the young, emerging future face of the NBA and Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Now, they're getting back healthy. Earlier in the season, they were my pick to come out of the West. I like the cut of their jib. I like what they're doing in Minnesota. They're long, they're athletic, and they play somewhat good defense. When you got a guy like Rudy Gobert who maybe, just maybe, the most overrated defensive player of the year we have seen, but he is still a defensive player none the least. So when I see Rudy Gobert down low, Karl Anthony Towns, Jaden Daniels, Anthony Edwards, and Mike Conley, I say that is a good starting five. That's a starting five that can compete offensively with anybody. and they can also compete on the defensive end. You take Jaden Daniels and you put him back into that Lakers series last year. That series goes a little bit different. Breaking his hand was huge. Now he's back. And now the Timberwolves are at full strength before we start the playoffs. And they're going to need to be at full strength. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal is an explosive, firepower-listic offense. I know firepower-listic is not a word, but we're going to make it a word today. And what I'm telling you is this: that offensive firepower that they have down there in the desert is nuclear. We saw this same team without Bradley Beal. We saw this team, win 2 games against the defending champion Denver Nuggets. We've seen these two combine for 70, 80 points. We've seen these two carry this team, and now you add in a Bradley Beal I could only assume is hungry for postseason attention. It's been a very long time since Bradley Beal's been in the postseason. Very long time. It's been a very long time since Bradley Beal was on a quest for 16. So now he gets his opportunity. He gets his time at the Apollo. Hopefully he does not get the golden hook. I expect this to be a great series that goes 7 games. This is one of the rare first round matchups that I think will go 7 games. When you look at just how much firepower and how much offensive momentum the Phoenix Suns can come up with and come and do fast. All they got to do is figure out this late game situation crap they've been going through. If you look at the regular season and their struggles have not been scoring. Their struggles have not been putting the ball in the basket. It hasn't been who's the alpha. It's about the final stages of the game, the closing moments. The fourth quarter. Can you close out a game? That has been the problem with the Phoenix Suns all year long. They got the best three-point shooter in the NBA by statistics, Grayson Allen. So now you have someone you can kick the ball out to. You got Jusuf Nurkic down low. He is nothing but a rebounding machine. Very fundamental. And don't make no bones about it. Jusuf Nurkic can get you 12 points a game. He can get you 10 points, 12 points a game in the playoffs. He can do that. He can get you 12 and 12. No problem. I have no double looks. I have no gasp. I have no shock and awe to say the Jusuf Nurkic is a walking double-double, and he's a great acquisition for the Phoenix Suns. The 2 things that can ruin the Phoenix Suns, like I said, are late game executions and Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel has been known to have some of the worst rotations this side of the Mississippi. This is the playoffs. What did I say earlier? What you do in this quest for 16 will either benefit or it will be detrimental to what you did in the regular season. If the Suns can go on a nice playoff run, get to the finals, no one will remember how bad they were in the fourth quarter in the regular season. No one cares. We care about the baby. We don't care about the labor. The labor is that 82-game season. The birth is the race for 16. Will we get there? That is the question. But if you can at least get me, get me something in that 16. Give me one win. Give me one series win. Then, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be ridiculed. Now, Kevin Durant is in a different atmosphere when it comes to, taking these asteroids. And that's because he's supposed to be an all-time great. Since leaving the Golden State Warriors, where he made a super team, he has been unsuccessful in the playoffs. This is a huge series for Kevin Durant. And I know Kevin Durant's one of those guys that's like, hey, fuck it. I don't need your approval. I don't need this. Kevin, what did she say off of Home Alone? Kevin, we need this. You need this. Steph Curry has a chip without you. So now he can say, I didn't need Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant needed me. What can you bring to this table? Are you just pulling up to the table, or are you the legs that hold the table up? I don't know, Kevin. We're going to find out. We're going to find out today. Timberwolves versus the Suns. This is a huge game. Huge game 1. Huge game one. Do not be surprised if the Phoenix Suns can take game one. It's going to come down to Jaden Daniels on the defensive end. Can you lock up Durant? We know what Devin Booker's going to do. It's no secret in what Devin Booker's going to do. It's can he get the supporting cast, which he has. He has the supporting cast. But can we stop everybody else? Can we make life hard for Kevin Durant? Can we make life hard for Bradley Beal? You cannot let all three of these guys go crazy. If they average 25 a game, if they average 20 apiece, you're going to be in trouble. But like I said, I do like the Timberwolves' offensive firepower. Karl-Anthony Towns creates a matchup problem for the Suns. An absolute problem. Kevin Durant guarding Karl-Anthony Towns? Karl-Anthony Towns, you better be in the post. And you better not foul out. And that goes to Rudy Gobert. That's why I say he's one of the most overrated defensive players of the year, is because most games he does not finish, folks. So how is he going to finish these games? If the Suns choose to go small ball, this is going to be very interesting for the Timberwolves, because then Rudy Gobert cannot play. Because if Kevin Durant slides to the 5, you better slide Karl-Anthony Towns to the 5 and bring in Kyle Anderson. But give me game one in Minnesota. Give me the Timberwolves. I would take the Timberwolves. And I really wouldn't think twice about it. Next game, 76ers Knicks. Now this is my jam. This is my jam. This is what I'm talking about. New York, stand up. This is where we stand up, New York. This is the time. This is your time. Jalen Brunson is locked the hell in. He's locked in. The Knicks are my pick to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Hands down, bar none. Knicks in this series in 6, maybe even in 5. Joel Embiid is still coming back from an injury, folks. He's not 100%. Do not expect Nicholas Batum to drop 20 points and drop 6 threes every game. It's not going to happen. That is not something that you can, that you should rely on. You shouldn't hold your breath in hopes that Nicholas Batum is going to drop 18 points again. It's not going to happen. If it wasn't for Nicholas Batum, they would be on the other side going against Boston. Tobias Harris, Maxey, and Joel Embiid must be better. Joel Embiid kind of has a little, well, I'm hurt. Okay, cool. You're always hurt. So what else is new? But Tobias Harris and Maxey have got to figure it the hell out. They have to be great. There's no days off anymore. You must be great every game. You're going against a team that has chemistry, they have depth, they have scoring, and they play solid defense. And they get out and run. The New York Knicks over the last, 20 games, man. Just look at it. Look at Jalen Brunson. Broke the single season record for most 30-point games. Should have been most improved. Should have made the USA team. There's a whole lot of shoulda, but you know what he could have? We're going to find out. Because he has the opportunity to still could have. He missed, the should have is not on him. What should have happened, he can't dwell on. But what he can do is go the hell off versus the 76ers. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a fun matchup. I do think the Knicks win this series in 5, possibly 6. I think Joel Embiid is just not healthy enough. It took all the way to the 4th quarter for him to finally, pull it around. And if the refs aren't calling fouls, if they are letting this game get a little bit physical, because it's going to be a physical game. If they officiate this game the same way they did the Heat game, the Knicks will win this game in 5. The Knicks will win this game in 5. Their starting lineup, they've played many minutes together. Many minutes. We know how Tom Thibodeau coaches. We know what he's into. He's into grind the hell out of his starters. If you're on the bench, you may or may not play, because I'm using the best of what I have. They should be in tip-top shape. They are the best athletes in the world. They are the best of the best, sir, with honors. This is something we shouldn't have to worry about. The 76ers, like I've always said, they couldn't get it done with James Harden. They couldn't get it done with Ben Simmons. They couldn't get it done with Jimmy Butler. All these players I'm talking about, they were a better team with. So how are they supposed to do better with a lesser of a team? This is not that. This is the series that puts the New York Knicks on the map. This is the series that does that. So don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. I got the Knicks taking game 1 at home. I got the Knicks taking game 2. 76ers might win a game in Philly, but this shit don't go back to Philly, I don't think. At least not more than once. And then here we have it, the prime time, the filet mignon with the Oscar on top. And if you don't know what an Oscar is, that's seafood. That's seafood on top of your steak. We getting fancy with this one, folks. We got the Lakers and the Nuggets. The defending champions versus the Lakers. Anthony Davis, before the season, what did he say? Oh, I mean, we get it. They won, but they did a lot of talking. Shut up, AD. No one's hearing that. Get out there and play ball. You know, one thing about Anthony Davis that I find people don't really understand is that when he was in New Orleans, when DeMarcus Cousins was there, who was taking the primary defensive matchup? DeMarcus Cousins. Anthony Davis was running around, blocking shots, floating around. You can't do that against the Nuggets. Unfortunately, as good as LeBron James is, as good as Anthony Davis supposedly is, the Lakers do not have enough to compete with the Nuggets. It's just that simple. Outside of Anthony Davis and LeBron James, who do you have? D'Angelo Russell, who was on the trade block all year long. I'm supposed to buy into this? This is the guy that's supposed to be the savior of Laker Nation. A guy that you tried to trade to every team in the NBA and every team said fuck no. But this guy is who the Denver Nuggets are supposed to fear. Austin Reeves, another one. These are Rui Hashimura. These are the guys that everyone's supposed to be afraid of. Gabe Davis, he just came back and it looks like he's not going to be playing that much. Taurean Prince, throw whoever you want out there, but this is not enough. This is a subpar, inadequately built team. If this game becomes a shootout, if this game becomes a 3-point contest, the Lakers will lose. They're coming to the Mile High City. You know you can't breathe here. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. I heard a Laker fan say, the Denver Nuggets should have to play at a neutral site because no one can breathe in Denver. I'm not hearing that shit. Grow up. Get to Denver early. Talk to Darvin Ham Sandwich. Talk to the LA head coach. Maybe he should get his team in Denver a little bit early so they can get used to the altitude. I don't know. The Denver Nuggets have to go to shitty-ass LA with all the vagabonds walking around. No one says anything. They just go out there and hoop. And that's why people take this Denver Nuggets team so lightly. Their best player could care less that he just dropped 30, 10, and 10. He could care less. Did his horses win the race? That's what Jokic is thinking about during the regular season. The man's locked in during the playoffs. Jamal Murray turns into a different beast, but the same animal. That's what happens in the playoffs. Michael Porter Jr. is 6'11", almost 7 foot. He's learning to use the dribble again. Keep in mind, Michael Porter Jr. was not supposed to be a Nugget. He was supposed to be a lottery pick and had a couple back surgeries. These are the type of chips that you need to fall in your favor if you want to build a championship team. You need shit like this to happen. You need the number one player for the past 5 years to break his back, mess up his vertebrae, fall 15 spots to you in your hands. You need these type of breaks. The Denver Nuggets, I've said this before, they have two lottery picks, 3 if you include Jamal Murray. Jokic was a second rounder and Michael Porter Jr. was a late. But Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Aaron Gordon were both lottery picks. Jamal Murray, first round pick. This is a team that is built for these moments. Christian Bond, Peyton Watson off the bench. They have depth. They have depth. No Johnny. But they got it. They got an 8-man, 9-man rotation. Zeke Nnaji, DeAndre Jordan, Reggie Jackson. They still have players that can come off the bench. The Lakers, when you look at how they're built, LeBron James, AD, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hashimura, Taurean Prince, not Keelan Hayes, sorry about that, Hayes. I'll figure out your first name in a little bit. They're not very deep. Outside of Anthony Davis in the post, who do they have? Mr. Glass is due for an injury, folks. He played a career high in games in the regular season. I'm just trying to keep it real with you LA fans. I know people want to change the narrative. Oh, well, if LeBron James beats the Nuggets, and they go on and they win the NBA championship, it'll be hard to put Michael Jordan ahead of him. We're not hearing any of that because it's not going to happen. The NBA is trying to make this a good series as much as they are possible. The only way this becomes a good series is someone gets hurt for the Nuggets. The Nuggets need an injury if this wants to be a good series. Nuggets in 5, possibly 6. For my respect for LeBron James, for my respect of the greatest of all time, I will give the Lakers 2 games. The Lakers will win 2 games. They'll win 2 games. But my heart of hearts, my mind is telling me Nuggets in 5. Because it's just, what are we talking about? Who is guarding Jamal Murray? Answer the question. Don't worry, I'll wait. Who is guarding Jamal Murray? Please don't say LeBron. Because then who is guarding the other 2 guys? The other 2 guys I'm saying are Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. Who is guarding Aaron Gordon in the post? He's 6'10", plays like a football player. He plays basketball like a football player. If you've ever been on a college campus and you've ever played in the intramural, the rec league basketball league, and you've played against a bunch of football players, that is exactly how Aaron Gordon plays. That is exactly how he plays. So what are the Lakers gonna do? Just let me know, please. Because I'm trying to figure it out. And that's the Saturday tip. Sunday fun day. Get your mimosas because it's going down. We got the Heat and the Celtics. I think the Celtics should beat this team very handedly. No Jimmy Butler for several weeks, they say. So I truly believe the Celtics should win. But I would not be surprised if the Celtics do lose because of how they play the game of basketball. What have I always said? I sound like a broken record. The way the Celtics play basketball is not conducive for winning basketball, especially not in the playoffs. They shoot too many threes, and they don't have enough shooters to make the threes in which they take. The great thing about a three-pointer is you get 3 points. The bad thing is when you miss a couple and the other team is scoring 2s, they can catch up. They'll catch up and make you look like mustard on that sandwich. But what I'm telling you is if you look at the Boston Celtics and how they are losing games, how they are blowing leads, it's because they shoot too many damn threes. Interesting series. If Jimmy Butler can somehow come back early, the first round of playoffs, you get more of a gap. You get more of a gap, 2 to 3 days between games, all that good stuff. So maybe the Heat can try to figure out. I will never put anything past Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. He's earned my respect. He should have earned everyone's respect long after LeBron left because he keeps the Miami Heat competitive. He keeps them in the finals. So I will never put a task as too tall for Eric Spoelstra. But I do think the Celtics win this series. Mavericks and Clippers, this one is going to be one of them darlings. Kyrie and Luka versus Kawhi, Paul, and James. Will James Harden shit the bed again in the playoffs? Will he shit the bed? Can Ty Lue work his magic and bring James Harden back from the depths of hell when it comes to the playoffs? Will Kawhi Leonard stay healthy? These are questions that need answers. Will playoff P a nickname Paul George gave himself. Will he finally come to play basketball? Because for the last couple of years, I don't know what the hell a playoff P is. I don't even know why he still has a nickname. They haven't given him a contract, so this is a big season. Big season, big playoffs. It's been rumored that the 76ers are going to try to get Paul George. So it's going to be interesting in this series. The Dallas Mavericks have not only been one of the best offensive teams in the last 20 games, but they've also been one of the best defensive teams in the last 20 games. They have what it takes to get the job done. So I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks in this series. I think the Dallas Mavericks can score more consistently than the Clippers. I know the Clippers are supposed to be this defensive juggernaut and all this crap, but it's the NBA. They don't play defense like that. Give me offense. Give me Kyrie Irving and give me Luka. Kyrie Irving is the reason why Dallas has not felt the effects of Jalen Brunson leaving. Because they have a Kyrie Irving. He should have been on the USA team. We know why he's not on the USA team. We're not going to get into that. But look out for the Dallas Mavericks to make a great run this season. I got the Dallas Mavericks in 6 in this series. Moving on, Pacers and Bucks. This is my upset. The Pacers beat the Bucks. Giannis is not healthy. He's not going to be healthy. I've been saying it all season long. This season is a healthy scratch. Healthy scratch for the Bucks. They've made too many changes too quick, and they have not developed this roster in the proper way. Brook Lopez, enjoy China. Bobby Portis into the starting lineup. And Chris Middleton, enjoy China as well. I know they're not going to China because they're two great players. They'll find a new home, but they need to be gone. As long as Brook Lopez is a 7-footer who refuses to get a rebound, the Milwaukee Bucks will not be successful. As long as Chris Middleton is a starting and you are looking for a 20-point, 15-point Chris Middleton, you will not be successful. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. Show him the door, Doc. And matter of fact, Doc, you go out right behind him. Like I said before, Adrian Griffin, I need that tell-all book. Let me read it. I will be a great critic. Give me the Pacers overall in this series. Give me the Pacers 4-2. 4-2 Pacers. I don't believe Giannis is coming back anytime soon. We are in the era where athletes do not gut it out. We are in the era where if I'm hurt and I feel like I'm going to be letting my team down, I'm not going to play. That's where we are. If I'm not 100%, I'm not getting on the court. I don't think Giannis gets on the court at 85, 80%. I think he takes it. Take it easy, Giannis. Take it easy. You're not winning a championship this year, my friend. Take it easy. You're not going to the sequel, amigo. This scene ends here. Last game for Sunday, we got the Pelicans and the Thunder. This series right here is, like I always say, intriguing. If Zion was playing, I could see the Pelicans pulling off the upset. But he's not. This is still going to be a good series, folks. Don't think this ain't going to be a good series. The Pelicans match up well with the Thunder, with or without Zion. Because when you look at how the Thunder play basketball, it's a Shea show, and whoever wants to show up on the sideshow can. That can be stopped in the playoffs because you're playing these guys at least 4 times. At least. So you're going to learn teams' offenses. You're going to learn team defensive sets, their offensive sets, their go-to sets, their spots, all that good stuff. Everything you can't truly prepare for in the regular season because of, you have 82 games. You got 3-4 games a week. So you don't have time to really go into depth on game plan. But look for Willie Green to do something in this game. And I think, Herbert Jones on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the key. Long length, defensive guy, doesn't really care too much about scoring. Look for him. Look for the Pelicans to force someone else to beat them. Look for the Pelicans to force someone else to beat them. And I think that's what's going to happen. I do think the Thunder win the series, but I also think this series is going to be a lot closer than people expect because, like I said, the Pelicans match up. The matchups, they match up well with the Thunder. If Brandon Ingram and CJ McCullough can pull their heads out their asses, if they can smell the good air and not the air from down under, they will understand that they have a potential in this matchup to upset the Thunder in the first round. They very much so have that chance. I kind of believe, truly, I truly believe that the Denver Nuggets have benefited from not being the number 2 seed because, like I said, the Pelicans are a very good matchup team. They have long wings, athletic wings. They have guys that play defense. They have guys that can shoot. They have Jonas Valanciunas down low. They have Larry Nance Jr. to switch it up and go small ball. They have depth down there in New Orleans. It's all about being healthy. So far, they have not been healthy. But overall, the playoffs are here, folks. 16 games for immortality. And then the season's over. And then we start the rebuild. Teams are already in Cancun. Cancun on 3, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Teams are already there. But these teams that are still here chasing for 16, the show goes on. Listen, for the Pelicans, you got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting. For the Heat, you got to keep fighting because you never know with these injuries. These guys can come back early. Some guys do gut it out. But overall, I said what I said. I mean what I say. This is going to be a good playoffs. This is going to be an explosive playoffs on the East and the West. Like I said, I personally got the Nuggets and the Knicks for the NBA championship. I can see a Phoenix Suns sneaking in there. I can see a Pelicans making it to the semifinals, Western Conference Finals, depending on how the series goes with Thunder. But this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we can all be friends during these playoffs. Subscribe, rate, and review. Subscribe, rate, and review, please. That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. And I am him, JIG. You guys have a great day. 420 for all my smokers out there. Smoke it up. Get it in. And may your favorite team win. May you get as high as the clouds and your team joins you as you bask in victory. And once again, this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Appreciate you for listening. Peace.